all. Welcome into the Lockdown Gambling Show, Week 18 edition. Lots of stuff going on. Different intro this week. We're playing with a couple things, so there will be new imaging next week. We're kind of changing this up, so this is no longer Big Al's Big Five. It is the Lockdown Corner Gambling Show, where I will bring in different guests. We will talk every week about different best bets, all of that fun stuff. Basically, your typical gambling show with a couple nonsense things thrown in there. But if you didn't watch last week, I had Chris Brault, my father, on, and he has been defeated. Gonzo, I am red hot right now. Back-to-back 4-1 weeks. So I needed a challenge. I needed to bring someone in that likes to fight me. Tell me I'm wrong. So I went to the one man that I can always trust to really put him up and give me his best. Jody Brault, my uncle. Welcome in.
Wow, I don't know what to say after that intro. Wow.
Hey, I mean, you're one of the only people that will fight with me, but fight with me and give me different points of view that, I probably didn't see or didn't think of before. That's why you're here.
And the right view, too.
Correct. Well, in your view. We'll see. As we go. But we're going to start in the spirit of changing things up a little bit and going a little different. We're going to start with college ball. University of Georgia and Alabama playing again. Now, typically we don't talk college football, but it is the championship. Saban, Kirby Smart, Roll Tide versus Go Dogs. So, Bama's a 3-point underdog. This is what I will say. I bet on them in the SEC championship game, and Bama paid quite nicely. I'm doing it again. I know, Georgia, are they going to lose twice? They're good enough. Let me tell you, and I'll get your thoughts on this in a second. Nick Saban is 4-0 all time against Kirby Smart. We just saw that this Georgia team does not have the offense to keep up with this Alabama team. So just for those simple reasons, Roll Tide. Give me Bama as an underdog.
I think it's honestly there is no underdog. I think it's pretty even.
Well, the line says that
I ain't a big college thing. I don't care for Alabama, so I'm going to be rooting for Georgia. But every week, Bama does something. I don't know what they do, whether it's defense or offense, that they just make the other team look silly. I don't get it year after year, game after game, and that's probably why I dislike them.
And that I thought in the SEC championship, I was scared, and Bama for that game was, I think, 6.5-point underdogs, which again they paid quite nicely. Thank you, bookmakers. I don't know why Bama would be an underdog to anybody after anything we've seen. I get that this Alabama team hasn't been quite as dominant. But now they officially have the Heisman Trophy winner, the best coach in the country. When it comes down to it in college football, if you have the better quarterback and best coach in that particular game, that's typically a winning formula.
Yep.
I know you're a Badger fan.
Yep. They got a surrounding cast that's always good year after year. You got to go with the history of Bama. They play big games and they play them well. Do they get beat sometimes? Sure, but they still show up. They show up for every big game.
Well, that's the other thing. The other thing, I mean, Georgia's a 3-point favorite. So you're telling me Bama has to win outright or lose by 3? For sure. This is not going to be a blowout.
No, it's not. It's going to be close because Georgia, I think, is going to come. They're going to come a different way this time. They're not going to be, and they're playing great ball, but it's Alabama in the national championship game. That -3, No, if I had to do it, if I was a betting man, if I had to put the odds, it'd be even.
Yeah,
I really would. I don't know how they came up with this, but
I don't know either. And some of these lines, as we'll see today with the NFL bets, some of these lines I just don't understand sometimes how they do it. But 3 points, they obviously think it's going to be a close game. But give me the underdog and some value.
I think it's going to be better than the last game.
Oh yeah, I don't think Bama's going to roll them out this time.
No. Georgia's going to come. I mean, it's still, even with Bama, the underdogs, they have everything to lose because of their aura. Bama's Bama. Every year, everybody's like, "Cry here, we're going to watch the championship. Alabama's going to be there." They're always ranked in the top 5 before the season starts. After this game, in a week, they'll put out the national rankings, way too early, and they'll be up there. If not number 1, they'll be up there.
They always are.
Yep. Al, they always are.
Always. So, I mean, personally, I like money more than these two teams. I don't really care much.
Bama's
I can't see Bama losing The national. I mean, maybe it's happened before, but I think I saw a stat, and this might be wrong, but in the Saban era, Bama's only lost in the title game twice, and they've been there how many times? So yeah, I like that. But we'll move on.
Like I said, I don't like Bama. I'm going to root for the Bulldogs, but
yeah, best case scenario,
Bama winning it. I mean, you got to beat Bama in the national championship period. I don't even care about the line. And for 3 points, I take Bama.
My best case scenario, just for my own personal, Georgia wins by like 1 or 2, and then I still get the money, but Georgia wins. That's perfect.
Yeah, perfect. I'm with you on that.
So we move on to the NFL before we get into the games this week, which, by the way, I'm just going to warn you now, are really weird. We're going to talk a little award season. We're getting to that time. A lot of smoke this week. So let's look at some odds. NFL MVP. Aaron Rodgers right now is the current favorite, minus 400. So basically, you have to bet $10 to win 40. Or no, I have that backwards. You have to bet $40 to win 10. Heavy favorite. Then next up is Tom Brady, plus 550. Burrow, plus 1,400. Taylor, plus 1,400. Cooper Kupp, plus 4,000. I wanted to talk about this because of that reason in particular. Look, I know he's not winning. This is a quarterback award, but it kind of feels like Rodgers is favored by default. He hasn't really he's had better seasons. He really hasn't had one of those, oh my God, games that we're so used to seeing. He normally is like 1 or 2 a year.
Rodgers has been consistent all year. I mean,
outside of the first game.
You know the line's going to go like this, but for the most part, he's right there. That's why if I'm looking at your odds right here, I personally, and it just happens to be a Badger, but if you look at Jonathan Taylor, even Burrow, I look at Jonathan Taylor because Indy they lost 3 out of 4 at the start or something like that?
Yes, they started out very slow.
And then Jonathan Taylor, he got ignited and he went up. I mean, he's been running the ball like super, and that team's winning because of him. You know what I mean? That, to me, that's more of a melt where Rodgers has just been pretty steady.
Yeah. And I think that's – it almost feels like Rodgers is favored and probably will win by default.
Oh, yeah.
Because Brady, it was all Brady. Well, he has had 3 stinkers in a row now. They lost to the Saints, got shut out by the Saints, should have lost to the Jets.
Yep.
Burrow's making a late push. I think at this point it's too little too late. The Jonathan Taylor thing is interesting, and I'm glad we're talking about this because him and Cooper Kupp I want to talk about. Taylor and Kupp have had the best seasons. However, this feels like it's going to be a quarterback award going forward. It's whether you think it's right or not.
Whatever. It is. I mean, look at the history.
Yeah.
The majority of winners are quarterbacks.
Last year, Aaron Rodgers was the NFL MVP. Derrick Henry was the most valuable player to his team last year.
Yep.
And he did not get a single vote.
Yep.
So if he can't get a vote with the incredible season he had last year, and by the way, with 1 less game than Jonathan Taylor, who's got a cupcake matchup today against Jacksonville, so he'll probably put up massive numbers. There's no way he's going to win. And this is the other one, the Cooper Kupp thing. He's plus 4,000. You could bet $10 to win 400 if he ends up winning the award. It's not happening.
No.
But if the Rams didn't have Cooper Kupp, it would be awful.
Right, because he's been. I mean, he's like an Adam Thielen, if you think about it, for Minnesota. He's that guy that is always there, catches the ball. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't put up. I mean, he puts up great numbers. I mean, he's had great games, but he's always. I mean, he's always getting his 10 catches, 8 to 10 catches, 100 yards. The majority of games, he's doing it every in and out. You know what I mean?
And especially with Stafford being so shaky lately.
Oh, yeah.
It literally, they don't win that Rams game or the Rams game. They don't win the Baltimore game last week without, obviously, his amazing supporting cast. And now they're getting Cam Akers back. But Cooper Kupp, I mean, he's had the best season out of anybody. And the sad thing is he has no shot at all of winning the MVP.
No.
He's probably going to be the Triple Crown winner for.
And like you said, it's the quarterback, because if you could take Kupp and Taylor, and they were so valuable to their teams to get to where they are. And like you said, it's just a given that it's going to be Rodgers this year, but Brady's up there, which I don't think he should be where he's at, because of 3 games he laid an egg.
Yeah.
Burrow has a better than Brady.
I'm with you.
Brady should be behind Cup, really.
And truthfully, if I were to bet a future on this, which I don't plan on it, Rodgers does seem like the easy thing, but there's a lot of value with that Joe Burrow pick. If you just put through $5-10 on Joe Burrow, you might be just wiping your ass with it. But if that ends up hitting, he's got the best case out of all these long shots.
Oh yeah, he woke up too. All of a sudden, it's just like the little light bulb in his head went on. Like, hey, I'm pretty good in this game.
Yeah, and he's not taking as many big hits anymore, which is huge for Cincinnati. Yep. Yeah, I mean that would be my long shot bet, but I just wanted to have the conversation and really just vent about this as a quarterback award.
Yep, and I agree with you. I think Rodgers is a shoe-in. I mean, they say they don't look at it, but you got to look at the record.
Yep.
You know, you got to look at. I mean, it's just going to do it. I mean, he's gonna. They win the first playoff game. He's a shoe-in at 100%.
Oh god,
the rest of the guys can just say, "Yeah, I'm not getting it."
Yeah,
which they're probably saying right now anyway. But
yeah, and I'm right there with you. I mean, he's my quarterback. I'm a Packer fan, clearly. But I mean, so cool. That's awesome. But no, I don't think. I think he's just by default because we need to name a quarterback, which is, in my opinion, wrong. But that's a different conversation for a different day. All right, so it's that time. I don't have new imaging for our new segment, Battle Bets, but for the last time, let it be Big Al's Big Five or the Bab Five if you're nasty. Let's roll the imaging.
Do you like winning money, or do you prefer to set it on fire? Well, either way, you're in luck. Here's this week's edition of Big Al's Big Five. Let's win some money.
All right, let's start with a game that really is meaningless, but the line to me looked quite nice. Green Bay, 3-point favorite at Detroit. The starters for Green Bay are playing, including David Bakhtiari. That was just announced. But not still sure on Jair Alexander yet. A couple guys that we don't exactly know yet. But they are playing their starters for how long? We don't know. Historically, Green Bay has not played well in Detroit. Detroit just trying to build momentum for next year. They've been playing really well. They are not a 2-14 team. They should have won a couple of those games. And Dan Campbell is not going to let this team just coast and get out for the offseason.
They had a lot of close games at the beginning of the year where one play or two they win.
Yeah, and for that reason, and actually I did bet real money on this game, and I think the line was at 3.5. It moved a little bit in Detroit's favor. Give me Detroit. Green Bay has not played well in Detroit at all. The starters are probably going to play for a quarter, maybe a half max. Detroit, it's going to be close. It's a division game, so those are always close. Week 18, I have a feeling a lot of weird things are going to happen this week. I like Detroit this week.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm willing to take Detroit. I think honestly, in my opinion, it comes down to how long the starters are going to start for Green Bay.
Yep.
If Rodgers plays a half, Detroit ain't going to win this game. They're going to lose by more than 3. But if he only plays a series or two or a quarter and he gets out, Detroit's got everybody in for 3 quarters. I think they'll beat the Packers. But
I'm with you.
It all depends on how many the starters. And I think Bakhtiari should play the whole damn game.
Yeah, I mean,
he hasn't played in a year. He's got to get them reps. If he's going to be the guy in the future, the playoffs, you got to get him all the reps you can, get in the game time shape. But with this, I'm with you. I think Detroit's going to win.
Yeah, I am 100% agree. Green Bay does not care about this game. It's going to be very vanilla. They're not going to be super physical. They don't care. They have nothing to play for. They'll go in, they'll get their reps. It's basically a scrimmage for them. We're Detroit. I mean, Man Campbell and Captain Kneecaps is what I call him. I mean, he wants to win every game. It doesn't matter. So I think Detroit's going to win it. Yeah, at the very least, because it's going to be close, especially if it's the Jordan Love show. It's going to be a close game.
Yeah, I really think like I said, if the starters would play a whole half and play like they do, I don't think Detroit comes back and wins in the second half. But I wish you could. If we knew how long the starters were going to play right now, it'd be a easier pick.
Yeah,
they don't play well at Detroit. We know that from history. So I lean to Detroit for an upset. I really do.
100% agree. Now let's move south. New Orleans, they need this game. They are 3.5-point favorites at Atlanta. Look, this could be Matt Ryan's last home game. And who would love to knock the Saints out of the playoffs more than their division rival?
Oh, heck yeah.
Well, and the other thing is, too, Taysom Hill, are you trusting him in a big game? Also, where is Alvin Kamara? Has anyone found him? Because he has been missing for, it feels like 6 weeks. It's probably been like 3 weeks. He has not had a big game in a long time. And I know Atlanta will be missing Kyle Pitts today. I don't know if that's official, but he was pretty banged up. So even a banged up Kyle Pitts, I don't love. But 3.5, I kind of like Atlanta here. And I don't really know how to explain it. My gut feeling is that one of these middling teams, whether that be San Francisco, New Orleans, Vegas, one of those teams is going to screw it up today. And my money's on New Orleans because I don't trust Taysom Hill. So I'm taking Atlanta. Plus a home.
I like New Orleans. I just like it. I don't know. I
get it. This whole week is weird. This is a lot of. I tried to take notes. It's all gut calls this week.
I agree with you, Taysom Hill. This is his biggest game probably in his career so far. And like you said, Kamara hasn't been anywhere to be seen.
Yep.
He's got to bust out soon. I mean, the odds are in his favor to have a big game, right?
Well, this would be the game because if you don't win this one, you're going home.
Yeah, I think there's just going to be more. New Orleans is going to come out with a little bit more fire.
That's what scares me.
I haven't seen nothing in Atlanta really all year of just being a good football team good.
The numbers say that Atlanta's terrible and their record is an anomaly. Like they should not be as good as they are record-wise because I believe in DVOA on offense and defense, they're 31st and 32nd. Like they're not a good football team. But yet they somehow win games. Division games, so I think it's going to be close. It's going to be weird. Again, all these games are going to be weird.
Oh, really weird. There's no sense to them.
No. So I'll take a home.
But honestly, this is what you want at the end of the year. You want, the Green Bay game is out there, but there's so many games this week that there's so much running on. I mean, the Sunday night game that we'll get to. I mean, think about it. That's the biggest game of the weekend, and it's the last one to play.
The rest of these games, well, I should say we have 3 games left in the slate, and we'll talk about them right now, actually. San Francisco at the Rams is the next one, but there are 2 games left after this one. One of them is just a wacky line that I'm just trying to help the people get money because I'm pretty sure that's the next one. We'll get to that in a second. Anyway, let's start in San Francisco. Let's start in Los Angeles where the Rams will be taking on the 49ers. San Francisco, they win and they're in. They need this game for their season. Jimmy Garoppolo apparently is playing, even though he's got a torn ligament in his thumb. Don't love that. In the secondary for San Francisco, super thin because of COVID and injuries. Their number 1 corner right now is Josh Norman, who's been washed for years.
Yep.
So Josh Norman against Cooper Kupp, I think that's a good matchup. Plus, Cooper Kupp is going for the Triple Crown for receivers, which hasn't been done since Jerry Rice back in the 90s. So that's a significant deal. So I'm assuming they're going to get him involved. I think he needs 12 catches, 138 yards, and a couple touchdowns, which if that's the case and they really force it, San Francisco's got no shot. And as far as the Rams are concerned, they're playing for the 2 seed because if they get that, they at least have 1 home game, potentially 2. So that game matters for them as well. So for all of that said, 4.5, you can convince me to take the Niners to cover because I do think it's close. There's all the Shanahan buzz. I'm sure you've heard. Shanahan has beaten McVay in every single matchup, blah, blah, blah. I think this is the one the Rams get. I like the Rams and swallow the points.
Yeah. Rams at home, and then, like you just said it, if they win, they got a 2 seed?
Yep.
Depending on what Arizona does, right?
I
think they have the 2 seed.
I'm pretty sure they have the 2 seed now, but if they were to lose, I think there's some movement that can happen between Tampa and Dallas winning last night. I'm not 100% sure on that scenario, but I do know the motivation is there for the Rams.
And it's at home.
Mm-hmm.
I just like it. Akers is back, right?
Yes, he is
so that's
playing.
That's going to open up the passing game a little more because they got you got your good back. I like the Rams. The defensive line, you got Donald.
Yep.
At home, I got to go with the Rams too. I like the Rams.
The only thing that scares me is that San Francisco's front 4 are a hell of a lot. I mean, maybe not a hell of a lot better, but they're real good. If you get pressure on Stafford, he can definitely fold like a lawn chair. That's for sure. So that does scare me. And 4.5 for this game seems like a big number to me, but I still think the Rams win, and I think they have a good chance to cover that.
Yeah.
If you tell me the score was like 28-24, well, that still doesn't cover. Like 28-21 even. Yeah.
I just think that if the Rams had nothing to play for where they couldn't move a seed, if they were stuck at the 3 or the 4 or whatever, I'd probably lean towards San Francisco.
Yep.
But they got something to play for. I mean, they can't go lay an egg or they're going to – I mean, the lower seed you play, the higher seed you at their home. So if they win, they get a home playoff game. I don't know. You got to – and you're at home. No, I like the Rams at home.
Plus, they have the motivation to knock out San Francisco from the playoffs. Yep. And let me just tell you, I don't want to see San Francisco in the playoffs. Get them out of here. If you're a Green Bay fan, that is the scariest thing for you. Because we always suck against San Francisco, but they can run the ball, they can sustain drives, and I guess it depends on how you feel about Garoppolo. But I'm scared enough of Jimmy Garoppolo and George Kittle.
If the Packers have to play the Niners, I'm afraid of Samuel running.
Well, that too. I didn't even mention him.
Debo runs the ball, catches the ball. The Packers ain't going to be able to stop.
Right there with you. I am rooting so hard for the Rams. I want to see nothing of the Niners. Yeah. So this next game has really – I mean, Buffalo, I guess, has some stakes. But here's the thing. They're 16.5-point favorites. That is wild to me. The Jets have been – and I can't believe I'm saying this. The Jets have been playing really well. Zach Wilson looks like something now.
They're scoring. I mean, but they got their guys back. Carter's back.
Yeah.
Because I have my fantasy team, and he did well. He's doing well, which you got a running game. It opens up your passing game. You in the NFL, from watching, you can't win with just passing or a running game. You just can't win. You'll win games, but you ain't going to win at all. You need that.
The at Buffalo thing is a little scary. But to be 17-point underdogs, they should have beat Tampa last week. Now, granted, they were at home, but they should have won that game.
This is a hard one, believe it or not. It's not an easy call.
Oh, I think they cover. I think Buffalo wins. I want to make that very clear. Buffalo wins.
Oh, Buffalo will. But 16.5 points, that's 2.5 touchdowns.
That's what I'm saying. I think the Jets have been playing way better than to be a 17-point underdog. And I get it's on the road. Conditions, weather-wise.
But Buffalo, you're in New York. You're playing – basically it's a home game. They probably got to drive over a bridge and get to them.
Probably.
So
yeah, I like the Jets here.
Al, I'm with you. A lot of points. If it was under 2 touchdowns, I'd say Buffalo. But this is 2.5 touchdowns. That's – I mean, is Buffalo – what's Buffalo's – are they out of the playoffs statistically?
Buffalo, no, I don't know if they're locked in or not. I probably should have looked that up. But I'm pretty sure if they lose and the Patriots win in Miami, I'm pretty sure they can swap, which means that I think they're going for the division title, if I'm not mistaken. So basically, if Buffalo loses, they now become a wild card team, but New England has to win. I think that one's a little sketchy. But Buffalo basically has something to play for. They are trying to win this game. So Buffalo's going to win. Don't get me wrong.
That's too many points for me.
Way too many.
Yeah, I just think 2.5 touchdowns is too many.
You can run on the Bills, which this team is going to run, especially with Zach Wilson on the road. Yes, give me the Jets. I never thought I'd say that, but I actually have too many.
Hopefully they don't – the Jets team of the beginning of the year doesn't show up with some of them – where everybody just picked against the Jets just because they were the Jets, and so they are. But I got to go. I'm going to go with the Jets too. It's too many points.
I know we don't have this segment on my sheet here, but I have an underdog parlay today. Real money, only $10, but real money on the Jets to cover, the Texans to cover, because they're like I think they were 10.5-point underdogs. Houston's been playing good, and Tennessee doesn't really have. They can get the 1 seed, but with Kansas City winning, they have to win. But 10 points seems like an awful lot to me. So I had Houston and the Jacksonville thing. I stayed away. I know that Indy doesn't play well down there, but I have to. So my underdog parlay is the Jets, the Lions, who are home underdogs, which we already talked about that game, and the Texans at home against Tennessee. So if you're looking for a little value there, if you're watching at home, go to DraftKings or your local casino. Get that in because I feel really good about that, which means it'll probably lose. But anyway,
some of them games you just said, that Packer one,
it's scary, but
oh my God, it's only 3. It's 3 points for the simple fact.
I got it at 3.5 yesterday, so 3.5.
It's only because the starters aren't playing the whole game. If the starters were playing the whole game, it'd probably be 16.
Well, that's the thing. I'm basically betting that we will see Jordan Love in the second quarter.
I think the NFL has to go out and say, all right, the starters are going to play for 1 quarter. They're going to play. You have to tell them how many, because I don't know. I hate that. That's all right. We talked about that. Let's just.
I don't think any of them are going to win, and it's only a 10 bet. But there's a lot of value there, so that was all I was doing there. All right, finally, the game of the day, Sunday Night Football on NBC. The Chargers and the Raiders are going at it. Chargers are favored by 3 in Las Vegas. Look, this is a winning scenario. Now, I should mention there's a weird scenario where if Jacksonville pulls one out of their ass today, that Indy, then these two teams can tie and they're both in. But I don't see that happening because Indy needs that game.
I thought if they tie, Indy's out and they're in.
Only if Jacksonville win, then these two teams can tie, which I don't think is going to happen. I think Jacksonville's going to they just want to get to the offseason. They don't care about that game.
Indy win in, right?
Yes, Indy needs that game.
So Indy's not going to lose. Right. No way.
So there is that. So these two teams are,
Indy's got to win. So if we're assuming that Indy's going to win, the winner of this game's in.
Yes. So we're treating this as a winner go home, even though there's some.
Like I said, this is the best game. I mean, for face value, this game means a lot.
Oh yeah, this is a playoff game. This is our very first playoff game
right here. I mean, you're winning in.
Yeah. So there's that factor. The Chargers, I lean towards the Chargers, and I'll tell you why. They're finally healthy. Derwin James back. One of the Bosas, Joey, Nick, whoever, doesn't matter. They have a Bosa, which is huge. Yep. Austin Eckler, finally healthy. And the way you beat this Raiders team is through the air. Well, guess what? They got one of the best slingers of the pill that there is in Justin Herbert. So 3 points on the road. They need this game. Look, there's not a lot of Chargers fans, so the Raiders crowd is going to be nuts. They obviously, with no fans, they won't travel very well. So it's going to be a lot of Raiders fans. It's going to be real loud. But I think the matchup for the Chargers is a lot better than how Vegas matches up. Especially, we don't know the status of Darren Waller. There's some optimism he's going to play today. But if he's out, Hunter Renfrow scares me, which is a weird sentence to say.
That's it. Hunter Renfrow is like Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
He's
bargain.
Rams
he's the bargain bin Walmart version of Cooper Kupp, yes.
Yep, exactly. The guy just puts numbers up. He's like the old Steve Largent, which you probably don't.
Seattle. I know. I mean, I've never watched him, but I'm pretty sure I got a bunch of football cards.
They aren't really fast, but they just get open and catch.
He's always open. He's 7'11". He's always open.
Ball, yep.
So the Renfrow thing scares me. You can run on the Chargers, so Josh Jacobs could have a decent day. At the end of the day, more talented, and obviously the Raiders have overcome so much. And they, as I've been calling them for weeks now, along with podcaster Bill Simmons, they're the Michael Myers team. You can try and kill them, but they just keep coming back. That also scares me. You can bury them in the house, set it on fire. It doesn't matter. They're always going to be around. That all being said, I still like the Chargers. I just think they match up better. I know. This one's tough. I was prepping for the show.
I can't even.
For betting purposes, a home dog is always nice in what seems to be a week.
I'm leaning toward the Raiders, to be honest.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say the Raiders. I think Hunter Renfrow is gonna have a big day. Or he's gonna be very crucial. I mean, I'm hoping Waller's got to play. He's got to be part of it. He can't. If he gets hurt and gets out of the game, it's gonna jump right to the Chargers.
Yeah,
because the -3,
it's tough.
-3.
It's tough. I get it. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. So either way you bet it, you know it's going to be close. However, if you bet the Chargers, they need to win by 3. Or if you take the Raiders, they could still lose. They just have to lose by 3 or win outright.
Right.
So, but yeah. For this one, look, you can convince me either way. I'm just leaning Chargers basically because you know what it is? I get it. The Raiders have had a magical season after, the Henry Ruggs thing, the John Gruden thing. They had another cornerback get a DUI. I get all of that. But at this point, I just want to see Justin Herbert in the playoffs. That's really all I'm betting on. I want to see the Chargers. I don't really want to see the Raiders. Yeah, I'm over the Vegas experience. Although
when it's
playoff game in Vegas sounds like it would just be absolutely.
If I was betting real money, I'd probably go with the Chargers, but I'm going to go with Las Vegas just because.
Yeah,
and I like the home team, and I don't know. I just like sometimes the times I've watched them, they have the potential. Are they missing a couple pieces? Well, yeah. Ruggs was a big part of that, but we don't go down that. We don't have to go down that road with him, but he was a big part of that, and he's gone. So that they're missing a little piece, but I like Las Vegas. I hope Waller plays and he does well. And
I'm with you.
I
get it. I
like Derek Carr too. I mean, the guy's been around for a few years, and all right, this is his shot right now. He's going to either stink up the shithole and not in big games, or he's going to show up and say, "Hey, rookie," not rookie, but
second year.
Say, listen, this is how you go. You can't be nervous.
Yeah,
I don't know. Another one of these games where I could go either way, and like you.
I literally could have flipped a coin for every single one of these games that I have written here. I could have flipped a coin and it would have been totally fine. Because even the Jets thing, I like the Jets to cover. They're not winning. But to cover, sure. But if you told me Buffalo wins by 3 touchdowns, okay, I'd believe that too.
Yep. But you can see where that's a lot of points. And, I mean, the Jets have been doing not great, but they've been doing a lot better toward the end of the year. So you got to – if you're going to bet real money, you better look at that too.
Here would be my gambling advice. I don't know. This is a gambling show, so all of this is advice. But what I would say is go light. Don't bet heavy today because you're probably going to end up getting hurt because it's going to be weird. Even some of my bets, I had a parlay. It was a $16 $5 bet, but I could have cashed out at like $400, something crazy value. But I needed the Chiefs to win by 11. That's a perfect example of this week is just going to be weird because the Chiefs should have lost that game. So if you bet today, congratulations.
Yeah. But the Chiefs, they should have one stupid play by the defense and pick it up and run her back. Game over.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. This is a weird week because there's too many already in the playoffs or too many at their spots where they're gonna we'll play, but and then there's too many that are like win, lose, in, out. You have to win, but then these two teams have to lose for you to get in. Well, you're going to play twice as hard, even though you're not playing well. I don't like it. There's too many close ones.
And actually, we've never done this on the Gambling Show before, but we have a bit of breaking news, which we have imaging for.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent news story.
Breaking news.
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen right now.
I feel a lot better about my Detroit bet because Packers inactives have come out, which include Jair Alexander, Aaron Jones, and Devondre Campbell. So clearly, Green Bay does not give two bleeps about this game. They are sitting, they're studs. If they are even remotely banged up, Bakhtiari is still playing, but Jones out, Alexander still not playing.
And taking Jones out, that's a big one.
It's going to be a lot of that third string running back, that Taylor.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be Dillon, and I don't even know who goes after him.
I'm pretty sure it's number 27. That's how I know him. Something Taylor. There's been a couple guys
in this running, but I'm like, God, what the hell? I can't remember his name, but yeah.
Something Taylor. It's not Jonathan or Fred Taylor, so whatever. Cool.
I mean, Dillon, it depends how much Dillon plays. I mean, Dillon can still light it up too. I like that little guy.
I can't imagine they're going to run him to the ground today.
No, too. You got to keep number 2 because if Jones does get hurt next week or 2 weeks from today, you can't have another banged up back because then you're going to a straight passing and that ain't going to work.
No, not with this team. This team is not built for the passing offense.
No, not 100%. They do so much better, even or up. I mean, you're going to lean to passing because you got Rodgers and Adams, but you got to take the pressure off the passing game.
Yeah,
and with Aaron Jones, you can do that with Dillon.
100% agree.
And I still say Bakhtiari's got to play that full game.
Well, and we'll see. He is playing, which at this point, if you're playing, I guess that means you want reps, which obviously he needs. So I guess we'll see what that means.
Practice reps are not game reps.
No, it's not the same. And even practicing, this was his first somewhat full week of practice, so they're going to need it. Yep. But that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Lockdown Gambling Show. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Hit that like button below. And obviously, always comment along. We love playing around and interacting with the audience. So please, if you're watching, feel free to drop a comment next show. We will be back. Thank you for joining me, Joe Bro.
Hey, thank you, brother.
Jody.
Love you, man.
Yeah, love you too. Thank you for joining. We'll see if you're back next week. I'll tell you, we matched except for Vegas and New Orleans. So I guess those are the two games I'm going to be watching closest today.
And I'm sure you'll text me with updates.
Sure. Well, and I got a little quiche on them too. So we'll see how those go. So thank you for watching this week's show. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, follow on Facebook for our live streams. This is a YouTube and Facebook exclusive, so make sure you are looking there. And obviously, watch our mothership show, the Lockdown Corner Podcast, coming back this week, getting ready for a little playoff preview. So we'll talk about all of that. But that's later this week. For today, enjoy the games. We will see you next week. And as always,